Hey everybody, how are you doing? Right, I'm just going to shut this door and then I'll be right back. How are we all doing? So, I think I need to clarify a few things about the online petition thing. So I think there's been a few misconceptions about what they actually do. And we've got to look in. People keep saying they're not a waste of time. You know, it wakes people up. It's to show that people disagree with what the government is doing. And to some extent, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with people with that sentiment that people have. And don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against people signing petitions. If you want to sign petitions to show how you're not agreeing with the government, go for it. But again, like I said this morning, I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that petitions do absolutely nothing. There are people out there that believe that these petitions will force the government to change their stance on things. And the reality of the situation is it won't. They don't care. They don't care about your opinion. If they cared about your opinion, they would listen to you. They don't care about us, not one bit. And I'd have to question, because people say, well, it is waking people up. It is helping to unite people. I disagree with that, because look, we've already had a petition reach over 6 million signatures. And how many people did that wake up? What was it used for? What was that 6 million signature petition used for? Did any political party pick it up and use it? Was it all over the mainstream media about how 6 million people had signed that petition and were already disagreeing with an already unpopular government? Because that petition was to call for another general election. And what happened? What did the government do? What actually changed? The government just dismissed it. 6 million signatures, and they just dismissed it. I think at the time when the government responded to it, I think it was at 3 million signatures. It was a quite fast growing petition. A lot of people signed it because a lot of people didn't want Labour in government. But what did they do? It did nothing. There was no political traction from that petition. And that's one of the biggest ones we've seen. Nothing happened. Nothing has changed. What exactly has changed from these petitions? Have you seen 6 million extra people out on the streets protesting because of that petition? Or did it just do nothing and then just faded away? So look at some of the comments. I think there might be somebody wanting to come and have a debate in a bit. We'll see if he pops up in the live stream. If nothing else, it lets you know how many others feel the same way. But what's a better way of doing that? Getting out on the streets and actually showing people how you feel, or sitting at home, putting your signature to a petition that isn't going to see the light of day, that not many people are going to see. Because this is what I was talking about in my videos. The only way that a petition gets traction or gets highlighted is if the mainstream media highlight it. If they don't highlight it, then it just stays online and it only goes as far as the people sharing it. It loses momentum over time because people stop sharing it. And especially as soon as the government turns around and says, yeah, we're not doing anything about it, the petition is worthless and people lose interest and the momentum dies down. That's the issue with petitions. This is what I was talking about. Pre-1997, petitions did get traction because the news media did cover them. They were featured on the mainstream media, going out to millions of people countrywide. You simply don't have that with the present mainstream media. They select what news to show, what better portrays the establishment in a better light. They're hardly going to put a petition. You're not going to see it on the BBC. You're not going to see it on ITV. You're not going to see it on the news media where people watch all the time. Yeah, it may appear on GB News, but how many people actually watch GB News? Their numbers have been declining. It's all about traction. If you want to wake people up, the best thing you can do is get out on the streets and protest. And this is what else I was saying. If you can't get out on the streets and protest, you're online and you've got a voice, share the content of content creators everywhere. And I stick by what I said. That is a much better use of your time to show your annoyment at the government than signing a petition, because that will actually do something. Because the government isn't terrified of government petitions. They're not terrified of them all, because they know they can dismiss those out of hand. What they can't dismiss out of hand is citizen journalists showing the public the truth about what is going on in this country. That is something they can't dismiss, and that is something the government fears a lot more than a petition. That's what I'm trying to get across in my videos. Remember when I made all those videos about Nigel Farage and how the Reform Party isn't the party to save this country? That's the same thing I'm doing with petitions. I'm trying to show people that that course of action is futile. There are much better options out there to show your distaste for the government. They really are. And it's as simple as, I mean, people say it only takes a few seconds to sign a petition. It only takes a few seconds and a click to share somebody's content, to share a protest. I've been doing that all day on Twitter. I've been sharing the countless protests that are popping up to try and get them traction, to try and get more people out onto the street. A petition won't do that. A petition only awakens people that come across it. If you really want to sign petitions, do both. Sign your petitions, but also go that step further. Share the material. And I know a lot of you do. A lot of came into the comment sections and said, yes, we're also sharing content. We go to the protest. That's good. That is good. But there are a lot of people out there that don't. There are a lot of people that just sign a petition and that's where it stops for them. And that's why I'm trying to raise awareness of it. I'm not talking to the people that do share the content, that do go to the protests. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who think that by signing a petition, they can actively change the government's mind. And it simply isn't true. It won't work. Demos, protests, petitions, political parties are all doing nothing. I disagree with that. I agree with you on the petitions, but the people that are actually going out onto the street and showing themselves, because when you have a protest in every single town, city, village, all up and down the country, people can't ignore that. And you're awakening people because they're going to want to know, why are all these people out with the union flags? Why are they all angry? There are loads and loads of people out there that are still asleep, that aren't aware of what's going on in this country. I bet a good proportion of the population weren't even aware of that petition at 400,000 wanting to repeal the online safety bill. A good portion of society doesn't even know about the online safety bill. They don't. They haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue because it's simply not reported on. Technically, 6 million should have been a recall as more than 10%. But a recall requires MPs to have committed to and indictable offence. And yes, I think they're all criminals. But so what? Yeah. I think the point is that the government won't listen. We have to make them listen. And the only way to do that is protests. Is that there are so many people out on the streets that you can't be ignored anymore. And it doesn't matter about the mainstream media not covering protests, because citizen journalists are doing that job now. And it's hard for the government to cover up massive protests around the country than it is to chuck a petition in the bin that hardly anybody knows about. And like I said, once the government comes out and says, yeah, and responds to it, says, yeah, we're not doing anything, we're just going to ignore that petition, it loses momentum because it takes all the power away. And then as soon as the petition loses momentum, it dissipates and it's gone. How many petitions have we had so far? And what exactly have they achieved? That's what you have to ask yourself. What have they achieved? Some could argue, yeah, it's woken people up to a certain extent. But what have they actually achieved? The party system has been gamed by so many people, I think it's wrecked. Small local cells of no more than 15 independent people working together to get elected locally, the future. The thing is, I agree, but they're centralizing power. They're restructuring local government into these like committee type things. We've all seen it. They're merging councils. They've just split Derbyshire County Council into two different councils. At one time, Chesterfield Council was a part of Derbyshire Borough Council, and I think we've got another one, East Midlands as well, council. The further away from power from the people, the further away power is from the people, the less power the people have, don't they? In that regard. What about the lady MP insinuating that Farage is similar to Jimmy Savile? And she's done it again in Parliament today. She should take her to court. Exactly. But is this going to be another situation where Nigel Farage, don't forget, Parliament's just pantomime. All these people, at the end of the day, all go into the Westminster Palace bar, the taxpayer subsidised bar. And at the end of the day, they all go in there and they all laugh and joke together. Parliament is a pantomime. So Nigel Farage will most likely come out and be outraged and say, I'm going to take legal action against this lady, or whoever's said whatever against him. And it'll just be empty gestures. It'll just be empty words. Nothing will happen. Just like the grooming gang inquiry that he promised. Remember how he said he was going to take, who was it? He was going to take somebody to court about her accusations about the reform ticker, saying it was fraudulent. Is it Kemi Badenoch? Kemi Badenoch? Did he follow through? Did he take her to court? No, of course he didn't. He didn't follow through on the grooming gang inquiry. He didn't follow through with the illegal immigration tactical survey that was going to do, which would specify how to remove all the illegal immigrants from the country. Didn't deliver it. Now it's just an aspiration. Nigel Farage is controlled opposition. Somebody said on X today that Nigel Farage has actually spent more time attacking Tommy Robinson and Rupert Lowe than he has attacking Keir Starmer, Sadiq Khan, or any of the other people that really he should be focusing his attention to. So as far as I'm concerned, Nigel Farage, complete and utter total controlled opposition. No doubts in my mind about that. But yeah, as for petitions, yeah, I get why some people sign them. Yeah, and some people took offence to it, and I apologise if people took offence to the fact that they thought I was having a dig at them. I'm not. I know everybody's desperate. I know everybody's just so desperate and they want to try everything. But I don't want people to have false hope. I don't want people to take action that they think is going to do something when in reality it's not. Reform donors are backing Sharia law. Look up. Yeah. To be honest with you, if anybody, the only people that are actually voting for reform now are going to be boomers. Are going to be boomers that don't really understand the way the country works. They see Farage as old school Margaret Thatcher type, Thatcherite policies pre 1997. And unfortunately for Nigel Farage, it's not pre 1997 politics we need right now. That's the point. Reform are done. It's just boomers doing boomer things, voting for a party that they think is going to change everything. And I saw that today on X. I know this is supposed to be about addressing the petition things, but then, you know, things change. They always do on this live stream. Somebody, I've lost my train of thought now. I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? They'll come back to me eventually. So I'll look at some of the comments. Yeah, but Steve, there are awake boomers, and then there are boomers that are, I don't know, that have got their heads still stuck in the sand about what's going on in this country. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, I was trying. There's actually a comment on X I was actually going to think about, trying to think what it was. I can't remember. I've lost it. It's gone. We need to reclaim our living space. We do. We are going to take this country back. It is going to happen. By what means, that's up to the government. If you have a loose coalition of independents rather than a traditional party, then you can't become controlled opposition. It's brilliant insurance to get elected locally and then go for parliament. It's a good point. But we've seen what happens, don't we? Everybody wants to be the saviour of the country. It's happened with the smaller parties. Everybody wants to be, it's great us saying this, we come up with different solutions, but the people who actually do this sort of stuff don't listen because they all want to be the people to save the country. There should have been a coalition of the smaller parties, but there isn't because ego's getting in the way. I totally agree with you. This would be the way forward, but it's getting people to actually do it. About housing migrants in new flats on the high street. God. Trying to think what I was going to say about X. I've got my trying to think. I was going to bring it up as a subject and I just completely lost my train of thought. Yeah. I'll have a think and I'll come back to it. Let's have a look at a few of these things. Trying to get as many people's comments on as working class don't get into parliament. Exactly. Unless you're the Labour Party and you've got the IQ of a sausage, then yeah. See, the thing about the Reform Party, that they've reserved the Parliament positions for themselves. They're the classist. Nigel Farage is a class snob. He is, through and through. So is Richard Tice. He's a class snob. There's no way Lee Anderson would have risen through the ranks in the Reform Party and got into Parliament if he hadn't have defected from the Tories, because he doesn't have the right accent. Look at the way they look down their noses at that lot, us. They look down their noses at us. They are the old aristocracy as they see themselves. They're not, but that's how they see themselves. The lying press is controlled by the international clique. Exactly. You look at the World Economic Forum, you look at their conferences, it's all media moguls, and they all between them control the media that we watch. And that's not coincidence that they've bought up all these media companies, and all these media companies, the only thing they do is pump out woke bullshit 24/7. That's no coincidence. That's by design. That's to dumb down the population. So look here. Steve, awesome. Sadly, I couldn't make it as I was working. Okay. I don't want to sound inflammatory, but Farage was the real deal. They would have, one, mysterious death, or two, reported his favourite advice to the country. Yeah, I think that's a big indicator, because look at how much press coverage Nigel Farage and the Reform Party get, as opposed to, I'm talking about the mainstream media as a whole, not just GB News. You won't see Rupert Lowe or Ben Habib on Question Time or anything like that anytime soon. You won't. That's how you can tell Nigel Farage is controlled opposition, because he gets a lot of media coverage. This Bowser head, okay. Trying to think for it to come back to me about what I was saying about this thing on Twitter. Really was. It annoys me now because I've forgotten what I was going to say. It'll probably turn up in tomorrow's morning walk video if I remember. Ed Davis is complaining about Farage. More coverage than the libs. Oh God, do we really need more coverage of him? You know what? I won't say it. I want to say this as well, right? You can appreciate that on social media there are certain things I can't say. I can't go into certain issues. I can't say certain things for obvious reasons. But just because people think I'm soft, people think that I don't want action, I don't want stuff to happen in this country. Just because I don't cover it on my channel doesn't mean it isn't happening behind the scenes, off the internet, off of social media. Now I'm going to let you read between the lines about that. I'm in WhatsApp groups. I'm in group chats on Discord, private Discord servers. I hear the rumbles. It came to light on X. I can talk about this one on X. Veterans in groups were saying, and this wasn't just ex-military. These were actually serving military officers and soldiers saying this, that they won't fight for Keir Starmer. Now, you can read between the lines. That's something I can mention. But there are other things going on behind the scenes. If you're in the know, you're in the know. I'll just say that. Obviously, I can't say certain things on social media. If we had free speech, if we had the First Amendment rights like the Americans do, wow, this would be a completely different channel. I would be saying things that would probably shock a lot of people. But unfortunately, we don't have a First Amendment. We don't have protected free speech in this country. Indeed, we don't have free speech or free expression in this country, thanks to Keir Starmer. And George Orwell said, and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, "Tyrants rule by fraud and force. But once the fraud is exposed, they rule by force alone." And that's what we're seeing at the minute. People have woken up. People have seen through the fraud. So now Keir Starmer has to rule via force. And that force is online censorship. That is increased censorship of what you can and cannot say. And that will slowly increase. And when he can no longer control people's speech, he will then move to using physical force to shut people down. He already has. He already has used physical force. When he went to those people's homes last year, the people that said things on social media that he didn't like, and he had the paramilitary part of the government kick people's doors in, because that's what the police became. They became a paramilitary force at the beck and call of the Starmer regime. He's already used force. And this is why I've said in other videos that we are in a cold civil war with the government. At the minute, it's just a war of words. But he has used physical force. And is quite capable of using physical force. You've seen the show of force that he uses against people at protests, concerned parents that are just showing their absolute distaste for the government in putting undocumented individuals in their communities. And look how the state responds. It responds with force. It responds with the threat of arrest for concerned people who have legitimate concerns about the safety of themselves and their children. The leader of this country, the so-called leader of this country, I use that term very loosely when referring to Keir Starmer, but the leader of this country referred to people as far right who were concerned about and outraged at the death of 3 little girls last year in Southport. We all know the song, "Times Are A-Changing," and they are. They are. It may not always be visible, but times are changing. It's not always visible, and for good reason. Nobody in their right mind would plan a rebellion, would plan a resistance online. It would be too easily infiltrated. I'm not saying this is happening, but I'm taking a wild guess as to somewhere out there in the country, somewhere in a back room, in a pub or somewhere, people are planning for the worst. That's all I'm going to say. And that's all I can say online, really. Yeah, he is, totally. Starmer is a dictator, and we have to say it. He is a dictator. He lies through his teeth. Look at the way he lied to JD Vance, saying, "Oh, Britain has free speech." No, we don't. The only people that have free speech in this country are Marxists, are the people who are ideologically aligned with the Starmer regime. They're the only people that have free speech in this country. Anybody to the left of Stalin, sorry, to the right of Stalin, you haven't got any free speech. That's the truth of it. Exactly. Look at the people. Look at the concerned people that turn up to protests. What do the far left, paid up activists shout at them. Nazi scum off our streets. And as Charlie Veitch quite rightly pointed out in one of his videos the other day, they hurl abuse and call the Union flag Nazi, when that flag was the ultimate flag you can have against anti-fascism. That was the flag that was at the front of the army that was charging into Germany to crush the fascists. So to call that flag Nazi is just ludicrous, and it shows how batshit crazy and insane these lefties actually are. And I was thinking about this the other day, right? When you take away all the ideology from these champagne socialist losers, what are they really? They're just a few aging hippies on their last legs, giving one last ditched protest against nothing. And they're on the wrong side of history. On absolutely everything they stand for, they're on the wrong side of history of. They're to be pitied, laughed at, and to be pitied. And the right thing to do is what happened at Epping. They turned up, they started doing their silly little chants that they always do. And you know what the people of Epping did to them? They had a party and they laughed at them. And that is the best thing you can do to them, is when they turn up with their little placards, waving them and calling you Nazi scum off the street, or calling you a Nazi or a fascist, just laugh in their faces because they're uneducated, ignorant twats. That's the truth of the matter. All they are is ideologues. They're just ideology. And when you take it away, they're nothing. They're nothing. They've got nothing. That's why they need all this censorship. Because in a playing field of free ideas, their ideology collapses every single time when it comes up to scrutiny. Every single time. They can't argue for socialism. They can't argue for communism because we have proof worldwide that it always fails. This is why they need the levels of censorship that they're wanting to put through. They can't win arguments, so you have to silence the opposition. That's what they do. Exactly, Steve. Yeah, the people of Epping played John Denver Country Road, which must have really annoyed them. Exactly. I saw your comment, Steve. You're quite right. They hate anything wholesome. That's why, look at all the lefties' reaction to the, was it Eagle Jean, is it jeans, Eagle Jean wear adverts in America? They're going absolutely batshit crazy over that model who is advertising the jeans. And we know why. It's because secretly they want to be her and they will never be her. That's where all this feminism comes from. That's why feminism is always attacking masculinity. It's because secretly, deep down, they want men like that. They want men, but they can't get them. That's why they've had this war against masculinity. This is why the far left had the war against the nuclear family. Because the nuclear family is wholesome. It makes you strong. If you have a strong family, you are strong. And it makes them weak. It makes it harder for them to get to you if you have a strong family. If you have a strong community, because that's another thing they attack. They attack community. This is why we have all this identity politics bollocks, to split up communities, divide them up and then pit them against each other. Without all of that, with strong communities, they can't propagate. That's why they attack everything like that. It's the Marxist playbook. Destroy everything wholesome because they envy it, because they fear it, because they will never have it. Sydney Sweeney, she's a babe with a couple of lovely puppies. American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. Gotta watch Ranting Monkey this morning. It's hilarious. Epping is a dramatic victory. They will simply move them on and illegals keep coming in. 600 came in. That's how we know of yesterday, by boat. Indians coming in by the trade deal. Afghans by the plane load. And Palestine. This is all leading to one thing, though. We all know they're going to be moved around the country. That's a given. But the thing is, look at what's actually happening. More and more people are coming out to protest. People are uniting across the board. Look at Ireland. Did you really expect in this day and age? So it's not that long since we had the troubles in Northern Ireland and such. Did you really expect that Protestants and Catholics, Unionists and Loyalists would join together, join forces to save their country against the illegal immigration invasion in their country? And the same thing is happening here. People are coming together. People are uniting. So yeah, they may move these people all around the country, but it's having an effect on the population. It is bringing people out. It is uniting people. And that's the most important thing. People are seeing that if they come out in force, they can make a difference. They're starting to believe in themselves. And that is way more powerful than any petition. It really is. People power. Because the mathematics of the situation is that we outnumber them. We outnumber the establishment. We're heading into a huge war across the whole West. We are. Yes, we are. This is something else I was going to bring up the other day, actually. That if the Reform Party wasn't controlled opposition, then they would have been banned. The government would have come down on them hard and tried to ban them as a party, label them as racist and far right, just like what happened to the ADF in Germany. And apparently the ADF isn't too pleased with Nigel Farage because I think he said a few comments about them that they didn't approve of. And you've got to look at what Nigel Farage is doing. He's attacking the very people he should be allies with. And you've got to ask yourself a question, why is that? Why does he spend the majority of his time attacking people who should be his allies rather than the people who are actually damaging the country? Because all Nigel Farage ever does in everything he ever says is he just states the problem. He'll get on his little boat out into the channel and say, look, there are illegal immigrants coming into the country by the boatload. Doesn't offer up any solutions to the problem, though. He'll always point out the issues, but he'll never come up with solutions for them. He's controlled opposition through and through. That's what he is. That's a benchmark. The fact that he gets unlimited mainstream media coverage for his party, and the fact that really Keir Starmer hasn't really done much to shut him down, even though he's way ahead in the polls. You would think Keir Starmer would be absolutely terrified of the Reform Party and be doing everything within his power to shut them down, but he isn't. So look at some of the comments. Might have to change the title to this now because it was only a little bit at the beginning, wasn't it? Well, yeah, it always goes off on a tangent, my live streams, because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot going on in the country. Try and look at some of the comments. Some of the comments I can actually post because I don't want to get you guys into trouble by highlighting them if you're saying some. By all means, comment all you like. But I will say this to you, right? Bear in mind, there will be people watching social media channels. I'm only a tiny channel, but you know, just be careful what you post. I said this in the other live stream. I watched in real time the other day, comments being deleted. I'll have to record it sometime. I'll have to like get on it and actually do a screen recording and show people their comments disappearing. So YouTube is censoring right-wing channels like anything. Comments just disappear and people come back and say, where's my comment gone? Why have you deleted my comment? It's like, I've not deleted your comment. It's YouTube. If you express an opinion that they think is too controversial, they'll delete it. They've expanded their censorship from merely deleting links to other material to actual comments now. Their AI will search out keywords in your comment and it will delete them. If you use any swear words in your comments, they'll be gone. They'll delete them. I did an experiment the other day. I just wrote shit in the comments of one of my videos, and it was gone. It was gone in a matter of seconds. So it shows that the algorithm or whatever parameters they're using, they are deleting comments. Yeah, even doing that, Steve. I've seen comments even putting the star in to censor the word. Even that's being deleted now. So it doesn't even matter if you censor your words, they're still removing it. Exactly, they are. Big Brother is watching you. I wish there was an alternative platform because I would use it. I've talked about this before. Rumble's okay. It's a free speech platform, but it's very hard to build up a following. Like, it's very hard to get people to move over to Rumble from YouTube. Because I could switch from live streaming to YouTube to live streaming to Rumble, which would give me a greater vocabulary to say things that I want to say, put it that way. And eventually, once this channel starts to grow a bit more, I may actually live stream to both. I may actually live stream to Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble. Porthorpe deletes anyone that disagrees with his plastic patriot stick. Yeah, I've heard people saying that. To be honest with you, I've not commented on a Porthorpe video, so I can't comment on that. But I've heard other people saying that. As you can see, not the most. I will say this, right, and I'm probably going to get all. Every time I mention Porthorpe, Danny Bosco gets the same. We get bots that attack our channels. And I will say this, right? For somebody that said he was going to stay out of politics, he sure as hell makes a lot of politics videos, doesn't he? For somebody said that he was taking a back seat, he's making a hell of a lot of political videos. See if we can backtrack through some of these comments. So I missed quite a few when I was talking, so we'll have a look back through them and see if I can bring. I do try to respond to most comments. A lot of the comments I get, it's not something I can respond to, but I do read every comment. I do, and it's something I know. And I get why some of the bigger YouTubers really can't respond to every comment. I do, because the channel gets so big and the comments, you can't really respond to 20,000 comments in a comment section. You'd be there all day. You'd never get anything done. But I know Maitusi does, and I respect him for that. He does read out the super chats, but he also does read out. So I assume he does. I haven't watched Maitusi in a very long time. I know that when I used to watch him, he used to include people that weren't super chats as well, which is right. You should engage with your audience. After all, even the people that don't send you super chats, they're still your audience. They still built your channel. You know, without you guys watching my videos, the channel would be nothing. You make the channel, as far as I'm concerned, and that's not me sucking up to you. I'm just stating the fact. It is. You know, no channel is nothing without an audience. It isn't. That's why I appreciate it when you subscribe, when you like, and when you share my content. It means a lot. It really does. Active Patriot. He was the one that was doing a lot out in Dover, as was the Little Veteran. I think those two teamed up. I remember the video, and I've said this before. I remember the video of Active Patriot being chased by Border Force. Ironically, it was Border Force chasing him. They weren't chasing after illegal immigrants. They were chasing after him for exposing how many illegal immigrants were coming to the country. He was on a little electric scooter and they were chasing him. It was comical, but yeah. Yeah, it was Active Patriot and Little Veteran. Because it was that. I think that's one of the times when Active Patriot actually got arrested. Because I'm sure he lives up north, Active Patriot, and they kicked his door in. I just uses non-super chat to take the piss out of people. Tried it with me, and no doubt he deleted my comment in the after comment. That doesn't know the history of his homeland. Yeah, I didn't want to dox him in case people didn't know where he lived. I kind of thought it was Hall Grimsby area that he lived in. But yeah, Steve, I've got to be honest, right? Got to be honest about my 2C. Used to like his comment. I stopped watching him when it was just non-stop talk about the Middle East. I stopped watching because it was just constant stuff about Israel and Palestine and Iran. And fair enough, I understand he puts that content on his channel because it's important to him because, you know, obviously he's got close ties to Iran and that region. But I've stopped watching him for that reason now. It's like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. I did defend him at one point with Paz 49, Gobster Talks, and Andy Gabby. And I've got to admit, given what I know now, and I can't repeat this because it can't be substantiated, but I trust the source. I'm not going to say what's been said, but given the information I have now, I don't think I would have defended him. Got to be honest. Don't think I would have made those videos defending him, knowing what I know now. I do think his content, the title of his videos, has got very, very clickbaity. At one point, yeah, it was borderline. It was like, yeah, he's just doing the clickbait to draw people in. It was partially truthful, but I think lately one or two of his videos have been just total clickbait, in my opinion. Now, I know that might be controversial to a few people, but it's just how I feel. He's probably a really nice guy, but he's trying to run a business at the end of the day, isn't he? Is there enough of us, 20% Labour, 20% apathetic, 20% ethnic, 20% abide, that only leaves 20%? Okay, I don't know what that's about. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Steve. And like I said, it has put me off him. I've witnessed what you've said. I have seen him belittling people. I mean, he's not like me. He's massive. He's got over 1 million subscribers, so he's got a kind of responsibility because he singles people out and makes fun of them. It's mainly trolls. I'll say that it's mainly trolls, but I have seen him be a bit abrupt with some of his regular commenters. Well, he's always said he's going to do that, hasn't he? Tausey will just get an American passport and fly away to his blonde, to his bloody left. He left Iran, or his father did. Okay. But yeah, that's what he's always said he's going to do that. He's always said he's going to move his operation to America. And fair dues to him. Liked and subbed off to see if I can find when Active Patriot handed that laptop into the police. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Exactly. I think he can get a little bit petty sometimes, and he thinks he's being funny, and it's like, you're not really being that funny, mate. And to pass himself off as a news channel sometimes is a bit much because he's not really a news channel. Not what I would call a news channel anyway. I want to see more rallies up and down the country, fewer online videos of people complaining about the problem. Well, that's my intention, Alex. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's the plan for this channel. We're building up to it. We're getting there. People saw the other day. I'm going to have to make a video actually of all the stuff that I've bought because I've actually got some slash-proof gauntlets now as well for when I go and do protests. I've got the stab-proof vest. I actually tried it out the other day. The not the stab-proof vest, but the body cam. It recorded for 15 hours solid, and it was still going strong, and there was still 2 bars on the battery. So it is the audio and the video was a little bit shit, but it's all right for what I need it for. All I need it for is for my protection when I go to these protests. If I have that body cam running the whole time and I get attacked and I have to defend myself, it's all on camera. I don't have to rely on somebody else or hearsay or somebody's witness testimony to prove, yeah, this is what happened. So I've got the stab-proof vest. I've got the slash gauntlets because you really don't know what these people are carrying. I've got the for winter. I've got the Kevlar leather gloves that I used to have on the doors when I used to do the doors. So we're taking them as well. They are puncture-proof, so you can't be stabbed with needles in your hand and stuff like that. But yeah. Bigger channels like Lotus Eaters, New Culture Forum, no offense, but those sort of people, they will go out sometimes onto the street, but you're not going to see them standing side by side with patriots protesting. That's never going to happen. Yeah, they're a necessity on the door, Steve. I was this one particular time I was on the doors. I was doing a venue, and I had to remove a particularly drunk lady from the venue, and she proceeded to try and stab me in the hand with a nail file. And if I hadn't been wearing those gloves at that time, I'd have got a very nasty stab wound. I've been stabbed in the leg with a cocktail stick before, quite close to my femoral artery. And trust me, it hurts a lot. It's like getting a very big splinter in the side. It is dangerous. It can be dangerous. I've been stabbed, been shot. I got a ricochet in Iraq from a wall. Only fragments, but yeah. But especially when you get, actually, I'll show it. The passive aggressive death threat that I got from a commentator. I'll show you guys that, because that's funny. Yes, Steve. Yeah, I can remember those things. Those metal combs, they were lethal. They had like we used to search women's bags, and we used to stop them, taking them in with them. The aluminium combs were like the spike on the end. I know exactly what you mean. Seen loads of those. Right, I'll try and get this this comment up. My I do have pockets in the back to put the plates in. I'll go up in a minute when we've see if I can find it. Here we are. Passive. It's under my files as passive aggressive death threat. I'll show you this on screen. But this is what this is what I had to put up with. It seems I've stumbled on a alpha males assembly focus group. When I was a kid back in the 60s, my dad and I ran a farm in Northumberland. The farm had a massive Hereford bull called Vindicator, who ran amok through the village. And one day, the cops came out and shot him. Dad said it was too late. He would run amok. It's all cock and no brains. I'll just leave this little anecdote here for you, your education and amusement. So yeah, even though I don't take death threats seriously, I always take precautions because of them, because you never know. Yeah, she was trying to stab my panda car driver in the neck because we weren't allowed to pat women down. Sub, thank you, cheeky sprite. Yeah, you remember this one? Yeah, I've had quite a few since then, but I just hide them from the channel. But I always keep record of them. I keep a record of all of them. Some are more serious than others, because some actually give the location of where I live. So obviously I'm not going to show that, but they give that some people actually know where I live, and that is scary sometimes. But I have to think about their ability to actually carry out any threat. We're well prepared here. We're well prepared at home. Kids are well prepared. They're told not to talk to anybody that's strange. They're told not to open the door to anybody. We have lots of security on the house. We have cameras. We've got a doorbell camera. We've got upstairs infrared cameras on the back and the front. We've got lighting all around the property. So we're well covered. We're locked down. There's chains on the doors and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like Fort Knox, this place. But yeah, that was a nice little passive aggressive death threat that I got. And it's part and parcel of being on YouTube. It really is. You are going to get them at some point. If you start to get a big audience, you will get these people, because this is the only way they can express themselves. They can't say, hey, let's have a debate. Let's talk about your ideas and my ideas and see if there's a common ground. They can't do that, because they know there is no common ground, because they know their arguments are so weak and pathetic that the only thing they've got left is to threaten violence. They try to shut people down. That's the only thing they have left. Well, yes, it's brilliant, but the HMO was more of a vape shop. Maybe I should do a video about that, an out-and-about video about that, about the, Steve might know about this one, about the bomb-making shop above the Chesterfield chip shop. That was only half a mile down the road from where I used to live. Maybe I should do an out-and-about video about that. Right, guys, 1 minute hour mark. I've run out of things to talk about. Does anybody in the chat make content? Are you a content creator? Because if you are, put your thumbs up and I'll give you a shout out in the live stream. Just put your thumbs up and I will give you a shout out. I need to do this more often. I want to do what people did for me. The smaller channels than me, I want to boost you up a bit and give you a bit of a profile. I've been asked. Here we go. Podcast. Yes, right. Post your podcast link into the chat. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a big one. The Waterlooville protest. See, I didn't even know that was happening. And this is the issue, because it just doesn't get shared around enough. It gets shared locally, but nobody else gets to know about it. Always shouts you out, mate. Freedom Dad always shouts you out, mate. Who is that? Can you send me a link to their channel so I can take post it into the comments below and leave me a link to it, because I want to check all these people out, because I want to give them shout outs. Because there's that many people. I watch literally loads of people. Yeah, thanks, mate. No one did, but I think the organisers didn't want Antifas turning up and destroying it. It was a nice family do. Yeah, it was absolutely massive. I saw the police out in force, though. They had all the riot gear on again. They had the fire suits on and stuff. Yeah, can somebody post his link to his channel in the chat and go and subscribe to him as well. Go and subscribe to Freedom Dad. Go and subscribe to him now. Go and find him on YouTube and go and subscribe to the guy. There's another guy as well. He used to pop up in my chats all the time. God, what's his name? He's a Chinese looking guy. Sorry about that if you're not Chinese, but a Chinese looking guy. I can't remember what his name is. Can't remember the name of his channel. But he needs a shout out as well. I think he's on par with me. But whereabouts did you send the link? Did you post it in the chat? That's the guy. Christian Mo. Definitely. Go and subscribe to him as well. He does great content too. I watch him a lot as well. I think YouTube's just deleted it. They delete links. Right, I'll go and check these. What I'll do is I'll go and check them out and I'll drop the links in a comment to this live stream and I'll pin it to the top so people can go and check out the channels. Petitions do very little to nothing to bring change. The damn politicians hold too much power. The people don't engage with their MPs or challenge them enough. No, they don't, because I think... Is that it? Freedom at Dad. Is that what... Is that his link to Twitter? Yeah, Dan O'Bain. Yeah, Dan O'Bain's been on a few of my live streams, and I've been on one of his as well. I like Dan O'Bain as well. Go and subscribe to these people. Go and check them out on YouTube, as well as Guardian Mose. These are all great people. We need more people, more voices like these people coming forward and speaking. Because no offence to the middle class people, no offence to the Lotus Eaters, no offence to the Paul Thorpes, no offence to the Richard Inmans and stuff like that. We need varying voices coming forward and speaking out. We need more people to make videos and content. We really do. Yes, I think we need to start showing up at council meetings. Is the grassroots way forward? Exactly. Danabeth says it was fearless and was no PC bullshit. Exactly. That's why I like him, because he's a lot like me in that way. I don't sugarcoat things. Some people, sometimes they take offense to what I say, and I don't mean it personally. It's like, I won't give people false hope. I won't sugarcoat things for them. I'd rather people have the bitter truth than a sweet lie. And that's what I feel petitions are. I think, thanks to Nicola H. Guardian Mose. It's a good channel. It's a good channel. Try to think of a few others that I watch. I keep plugging this guy. I know he's got a lot of subscribers, but if you ever get in trouble with the police at a protest or anything like that, or the police overstep their mark, go and watch Crime Bodge. Crime Bodge is brilliant. I'll type it. Crime Bodge. Crime Bodge. Go and type that into YouTube. He's brilliant. He's had a lot of run-ins with police that have overstepped their powers, and he does help people take them to court and get civil claims in against them. I love Crime Bodge. I love watching his videos. I like watching AY audits as well, because he's similar. He's like boots on the ground, and he goes in, he knows the law, and when the police turn up and they try to arrest him for trespass, he says this is a civil offence. It only becomes a police matter if it's aggravated. I like AY audits as well. I know a lot of people have the doubts about DJE Media, because there's been some videos made about him, and although, yeah, I accept what people are saying about him, I've not seen any concrete evidence as of yet about that sort of thing. So, yeah. Who else do I watch? Quite a lot. I watch Danny Roscoe. Danny Roscoe is awesome as well. I like Danny Roscoe. I like people like me that just say it how it is, that don't mince their words, just get down to the point and just say, this is it. That's what I like. Yeah, Oriented Britain. Autistic Audits as well. I like his stuff. Autistic Audits. Great channel. Obviously, Charlie Veach. I think everybody knows Charlie Veach. I watch Charlie Veach a lot. The brass balls on that guy. I'm trying to think of some others. I do watch quite a few people. I watch the Lotus Eaters, obviously. I used to watch Maya Tusi, but obviously not so much. Edge of the Matrix, yeah, definitely. Edge of the Matrix, awesome. There was one protest last year saying we're going to have to arrest him for his own safety. That's blatantly unlawful, exactly. And this is what I don't get, and I've said this in videos. I don't understand this at all. To me, the onus is on the people being violent. You don't remove me for my own safety. You remove the people who want to hurt me for my own safety. That's what you do. But for some reason, in this day and age now, it's gone backwards. It's all backwards round. We've got to arrest you for your own safety. We've got to remove you from the situation for your own safety. Not, let's get the right police in, lads, and let's go and sort them people out over there that are getting violent. Let's go and arrest them. They do the easiest thing possible now. That's the way I feel about it. It's the easiest thing to do is just to arrest the person that's the victim and take them out of the situation because they don't want to offend the certain demographics in our society because they're woke and they're captured and they're political. That's why they do it. I like Jeff Taylor. Yeah, right. About Jeff Taylor. Lovely guy. Like him a lot. Not so keen on the guy he does his streams with, though. He kind of annoys me sometimes. I wish Jeff would just do it like I do it, unscripted. Because when he reads from a script, he sounds like a robot and it grates on, it just, no, I have to switch off. Another person, and it's not their fault, it's British Stand, is it? British Stand? I can't watch him because he sounds like a robot. Originally, he was doing his channel like an AI type thing, and that annoyed me as well. I hate AI videos. I can't stand AI commentary videos. I'm a massive sci-fi fan. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and I watch stuff about Star Trek and or Star Wars and all that kind of stuff on YouTube. And there's all these AI videos of talking about the ships and the people in those, and I just can't watch them because they just annoy me. It's just idle to me. It's just like, just get on camera and just do the work yourself. I can relate more to somebody if I'm talking to somebody. Do you know what I mean? If I know it's a real person, when I listen to that stupid AI voice that mispronounces words, I mean, I mispronounce words, but not to the extent of AI. It just annoys me, that kind of stuff. And that the AI videos as well, the AI generated videos, it's just schlock. It's just shit. It really is. AI videos only work if done through Craftwork style vocoder. I don't know anything about it. I just don't like it. They just sound fake, don't they? You know, they say they've got emotion in them, but you can just tell. You can tell the AI because I can tell the difference between a normal person speaking and AI. And it just sounds fake. You just know. Yeah, they're brilliant. Yorkshire Rose, she's brilliant as well. She normally goes around with Marty Blackburn as well. No, sorry, she goes around with Active Patriot a lot. Yorkshire Rose, she's another brilliant channel to go and watch. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she goes around with Active Patriot a lot. Obviously, now that things are getting a little bit more violent around the illegal immigrant hotels, it's better that she goes around with something like Active Patriot. I think there's quite a few that go around actually and do those sort of things. Right, I'll mention a few people that I don't really like in the auditing scene. People that irritate me. DJ Audits irritates me a little bit. Used to like his stuff. Not that keen on the guy. DJ Audits. What's that? Oh, God. There is one that I absolutely. People won't probably agree with me. I absolutely fucking hate the guy because he just comes off. He just comes off as a giant prick. Orton Yorkshire. I can't stand that guy. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't like him. I think he's antagonistic. I think he goes into situations deliberately to provoke reactions out of people. And yeah, you could say that to some extent about all auditors, really. But there are some that don't cross a certain line. And with me, there is another one as well. What's Ryan Rampage? I like Rampage is okay. Angry Bootneck. I like Paz 49. I do like him. It disappointed a little bit when he did all that thing about Maya Tusi. But yeah, but I like. Anyone remember Based Amy? She was mine. Yeah, I remember Based Amy. Yeah. There was a time Busker. Remember Busker? I used to do a lot of live streams with a guy called Busker. He's quite a big YouTuber now. He's got, what is it? I think it's over 500,000 subscribers now, Busker. But he mainly does videos outside horse guards. He just records tourists being idiots in there. That's, yeah, Reggie Photo. Yeah, I liked him. I don't know what, does he still do videos? Has his channel gone down? Because I used to watch him all the time. Correct, not political. He was awesome. That's the guy that goes around with a clipboard, up to the left is, and says, well, we're doing a program where you can take in a refugee. Are you interested in adopting a refugee? That's the guy that used to go around and they would be giving all the excuses under the sun as to why they couldn't take in a refugee, saying, oh, yeah, oh, sorry, no, I rent. Oh, no, I just don't have the room. He was awesome. Billy Moore, yeah, he's another good one. Yeah, he's another good one. I've got loads of respect for people that don't just sit behind a computer and go out onto the street and highlight what's happening to our country. I've got nothing but respect for people like that. I really have. I respect all auditors for doing what they do. There's just that element within them, like any group, that take it a little bit too far, in my opinion. You can see that they're not doing it to promote public photography. They're purely doing it to get a rise out of the people that they're antagonizing, just to get clicks so they get revenue for their videos. That's the difference for me. People like AY Audits and others are doing it because they want people to see what's happening in the country. You can tell the difference in their videos. We got a problem, yeah. The trouble is, right, I like his content. It's that text-to-speech voice. I can't stand it. It's too fast. It's too fast. It annoys me. It just annoys me. And it's like, Jesus Christ, mate, just slow it down a bit. It doesn't pause. It just keeps talking while it's like he types in a script and then he just lets it loose without any punctuation. It just keeps talking. It's like, it's exhausting listening to it sometimes. Never heard of them. Not heard of them. NHP UK TV is live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. and very frank discussions by panel members and guests. Right, okay. Give them a watch. West Audit Reports. West Audit Reports, yeah. Tyrant Finder, yeah. Oh my God, the motor racing commentary, I hate it. Yeah, it just I think it's the AI voice that he's got for his channel. We've got a problem. It just doesn't work. He had a different one before, and I could listen to that because it talked like a normal human being. But this one, it seems to have no punctuation. It doesn't know when to stop. Working Class Patriot is doing some good stuff on exposing government and police corruption. Yeah. Don't get me started on this lady. June Slater is dull, just reads from billboards. Yes. It's like, who's the biggest fangirl? Alex Phillips of Farage? Is it Alex Phillips or is it June Slater? Because I can't make my mind up. Because they both think the sun shines out of his arse, don't they? Right, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for coming along. It's been great listening and talking to you all again. Eventually, we're going to get a better laptop and I'm going to be able to invite some of you guys in and we can have a conversation because I think that's going to be a lot better. We can watch videos on here. We can, I can stream videos and we can watch them together, have a laugh and criticize some stuff because I'd love to do that. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a few more comments, people that are coming in. Surely it's the message that folks should be listening to and necessarily the message. We all have our own preferences, shouldn't ignore the message. I agree with that. Get a few more in. John is the founder member and usually opens the show, but Paul Rimmett is very knowledgeable on the party. It's Christian based. Okay. I watched Farage go earlier, and the woman next to him is a wife. Yeah. Right, that's it, guys. I'm going to. What's your final word on petitions? I'm going to say it's down to everybody's choice. It's up to you what you do with petitions. If you sign them or not, it's down to you. Me personally, I would have to say they're a complete waste of time. It's a waste of energy. They don't do anything. They would only do something if a political party picks them up and uses them for political backing, saying, look, I've got 400,000 people behind me that support what I support. That's how they should be used. And the mainstream media should use petitions to speak truth to power. They should be saying, why have you ignored these 6 million people who signed a petition wanting another general election? Why have you just dismissed these people? That's what they're for. They're to hold power to account. But the mechanisms that used to use petitions don't exist anymore. That's it. They don't exist. And unfortunately, petitions don't carry the weight that they used to. And yeah, they are debate. They do start debates. They do start discussions. But there are other means to do that. And I think energy would be better spent in promoting content creators, auditors, going out there that are actually out there on the streets making a difference, because that's what the government fears more than anything. They don't fear petitions because they know they can just dismiss them. They can't dismiss citizen journalists spreading the word around the country about what the government is doing. That is what the government is terrified about. So to me, and this is just my personal choice, anybody else can do whatever they like. But for me, my time would be better spent promoting other channels, sharing pages that are promoting protests up and down the country, and get behind those people. That's where my energy is better spent, in my opinion, than on online petitions, which offer nothing but false hope. So on that note, we'll repeat the previous comment. Petitions do very little to nothing to bring change. The politicians hold too much power. The people don't engage with the MPs or challenge them enough. And I completely agree with that. That's a good point, actually, because I feel that writing a letter to your MP, if everybody did that, that would most likely carry more weight than a petition. It would. Hey Vin, I'm avoiding my duties by watching you at work. Just saw it now, and you're ending the stream. Oh no, what's going on? I have the what have the idiots been doing? Complain about now. It's okay. It's sorted as well. Okay, sorted. I think we're all okay. I think we're on the same page now. Yes, yes. Of course, letters have to be filed. Exactly. So don't waste your time on petitions. Write letters to your local MP. They have to go on file. I think that's probably good advice. And thanks, Isabella. In writing, I think they're legally obliged to reply. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, right, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. It's much appreciated. And I shall see you all tomorrow in the morning walk video. See you all soon. This is Vindicator, signing off.